Hello, welcome back to Home Studies e-learning for First. Today we're going to look at adverbs. So let's start, shall we? Okay, so let's remember, how do we use adverbs? Well, we use adverbs to describe a verb, an adjective or an adverb. They provide us with more information about things like the place, the time, the manner and frequency. Let's look at some examples. So an adverb of place could be outside. I put my coat on because it was cold outside. An adverb of time. The managers agreed to meet weekly to work on solutions. An adverb of manner. She drove carefully through the busy streets. And finally, an adverb of frequency. I rarely go to the cinema these days. Remember, we use adverbs of frequency to tell us how often we do things, like rarely, sometimes, never, always. Now, let's remind ourselves of how we form adverbs. So, most of the adverbs are formed by simply adding ly to an adjective. For example, the adjective quick will become quickly. The adjective safe becomes safely. Now, if an adjective ends in just y, then the spelling will change. For example, happy will become happily. Easy becomes easily. Let's have a look at some more spelling changes. So if an adjective ends in able or ible, then it changes again. For example, adorable will become adorably. Enjoyable becomes enjoyably. And likewise, terrible becomes terribly. Flexible becomes flexibly. Now, point to remember is that adjectives that end in ly cannot be changed into an adverb. Now let's remind ourselves of the position of adverbs. They do change. Now most adverbs can be placed at the beginning, middle or end of a sentence. Let's have a look at these examples. Here we use carefully at the beginning, middle and end of a sentence. So first, carefully the taxi driver drove through the busy streets. Or we could say the taxi driver drove carefully through the busy streets. Or the taxi driver drove through the busy streets carefully. So there they can go at the beginning, middle or end of the sentence. Many adverbs, particularly those of time and place, though, can come at the end or the beginning of a sentence. Recently, I finished my dissertation. Or we could say, I finished my dissertation recently. I'm glad I've got that over with. Now, there are some other rules about adverbs as well, particularly adverbs of frequency. Some adverbs of frequency are placed in the middle of a sentence. Look at these. I never drink alcohol. I always travel to work by bus. We don't say I drink never alcohol or I travel always to work by bus. Now adverbs of frequency go after auxiliary and modal verbs. Look at these examples here where we've used never. I've never been to Las Vegas, but one day I hope to go. You should always brush your teeth before going to bed. So we don't say you always should brush your teeth before going to bed. Now, adverbs of manner, place and time usually come at the end of a sentence. For example, I get up early. Or the school orchestra played well. Now remember the school orchestra, we're going to come back to them in a moment. Now, some adverbs have the job of modifying. The following are used to strengthen other adverbs, so they modify other adverbs. Here are some modifying adverbs. These are some common ones. Extremely, really, quite, very, slightly. Remember our school orchestra? So we could say the school orchestra played extremely well. This strengthens the adverb well. Not only did they play well, they played extremely well. Good for them. Now, a lot of students get confused with certain adverbs and adjectives. For example, words like hard and hardly. Look at this example. Pauline is a hard worker. Pauline's boss is happy with her as she works hard. In the first sentence, hard is the adjective. Pauline is a hard worker. But in the second sentence, it's an adverb. Pauline's boss is happy with her as she works hard. The spelling doesn't change, yet one is an adjective and one is an adverb. Have a look at this. He left work early to collect his children from school. He got the early bus home in order to collect his children from school. So in the first example, early is used as the adverb. He left work early, an adverb of time. Whereas the adjective early to describe the bus is used as an adjective in the second one. He got the early bus home in order to collect his children from school. Okay, now another word people get confused with is hardly. Okay, hard and hardly are both adverbs, but they have different meanings. Okay, hardly means almost not, and it's often used with ever and any, and it can go in several positions in a sentence. Let's look at these examples. The first one, I hardly ever visit my best friend from school. And the second one, on the flight home from my holiday, there were hardly any other passengers. So in the first sentence, I hardly ever visit my best friend from school, hardly is an adverb that tells us that I almost never visit my best friend. Whereas in the second example, on the flight home from my holiday, there were hardly any other passengers, means that there were almost none. No other passengers on the plane. How nice. All that leg room to yourself. Lovely. Another word is late or lately. Now in this example here, Alice was late for her appointment with her dentist. Oh, naughty Alice. And in the second example, Alice has been suffering from terrible toothache lately. So in the first example, late for her appointment, it just means she missed her appointment. She wasn't at the appointment on time. You could be late for an appointment, late for school, late for your lesson. In the second example, Alice has been suffering from terrible toothache lately. Lately means recently. So it means in the recent past, Alice has been having terrible toothache. Okay, I hope that helps. If you'd like some more practice, it's test time. Okay, so over to you.